Hello and welcome to ENCORE, the show devoted to the arts and to culture here on France 24. Coming up on today's programme. Can Kevin Costner bring his game to a new sports-inspired flick called Draft Day? We'll be meeting him and some of the other stars of the cast. In a galaxy far, far away, Star Wars fans look ahead to Episode 7 and are already speculating on possible plotlines. We'll be catching up with a few of them. And art in Qatar. The energy-rich Gulf nation is making a name for itself on the global cultural scene by lavishing billions of dollars on renowned artwork. First, if the words quarterback, touchdown and blitz don't mean terribly much to you, then prepare to be enlightened, because today we're delving into the mysterious world of American football. With his new movie, Draft Day, Ivan Reitman gives us a behind-the-scenes peek at America's most popular sport, and all this on one of the most unpredictable and exciting days in the league. Our LA correspondent, Valérie de Fert, went to meet some of the movie's stars, like Kevin Costner and Jennifer Garner, two of the big names who'll be bringing the excitement of the game to the big screen.
This is the draft day Browns fans were waiting for.
Draft day, history in the making.
It's the most important day of the year for American college football players, the draft.
Football league.
A day of national selections and trades.
I'm going to do what's best for the team.
Each team in the league has 10 minutes tops to recruit and exchange the best college players.
It's go time, boss. You're going rogue.
Who are you going to take?
What's happening? Who you picking?
Strategy and business definitely come into play in this high-stakes game.
How different do you think this movie is from other American football movies you've seen before?
A lot of those movies have to do with the on-the-field action, and this movie doesn't at all. It's not about football at all. It's about the behind-the-scenes relationships and emotions that goes on in the business aspect of professional sports. So it's very different and it's very real.
You see things other people don't see.
And leading the Cleveland Browns is an actor loved by many Americans, Kevin Costner. He plays the team's beleaguered general manager.
It's me.
You son of a...
I need 5 minutes, and then you can fire me.
I got Tom Michaels on the line.
Sonny, are we trading six?
We're looking at young men who are all very, very good and trying to anticipate who's one that can somehow change a team's luck.
Enjoy today, Ray. You only get drafted once.
And to counter this flood of testosterone, he turns to Allie, a team executive and his mistress, played by Jennifer Garner.
How is it that the ultimate prize in the most macho sport ever invented is a piece of jewelry?
How is it to be surrounded by all these men? Do you think American football is a macho environment?
I think it's a very macho environment. I think it's probably about as macho as you can get. But I think that there's room for women who know the sport inside and out and who are smart and not afraid of their own power. And I think that certainly the character that I play is one of those women.
The main challenge in making the movie was getting access to the National Football League, or NFL, which is fiercely protective of its image. The crew even shot a scene during the real 2013 draft.
Well, this movie would have been impossible without access from the National Football League. As soon as I read it, I said, wow, great story. Uh-oh. We can't make this movie. It's impossible to make unless we get permission from the NFL, because they have to be real teams.
Everything in the movie is taken from reality, including the team's names, the franchise logos, and even some players.
You need your hands right.
I know.
In real life, Arian Foster is a running back for the Houston Texans. He's a perfect example of how American football can help youngsters climb the economic ladder. And for most college players, the draft is the day that can change their lives forever.
That's why there's so much emotion in getting drafted, is because you go from being a poor kid from the ghetto to having millions of dollars, and now like you can take care of your family the way you've wanted to for your whole life. And that's what's so powerful about the day of a draft.
Let's talk about the draft. I need you to make a splash, Sonny. If you can't do
This is the third movie we've seen Kevin Costner in this year, including Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit, and 3 Days to Kill. He also has 2 films in post-production. Clearly, this actor, who's been in the business nearly 35 years, isn't slowing down.
You know, it does seem like a lot, even to me. I just enjoy acting, and people ask me to be in their movies.
When you look back, for example, at your career, other movies you've done, great movies, very different ones, well, how do you feel about it?
I feel good in the sense that when people come up to me and say what their favorite movie is, I never know what they're going to actually say. So I feel best about that, that it's not always a single movie that they say. It's not Dances with Wolves, or it's not JFK, or Untouchables, or Bodyguard. It's always, I never know what they're going to say.
How's a girl like...
Speaking of being in demand, this is one of 3 movies Jennifer Garner has coming out in the next few months.
Anything.
If I do my job.
After the Dallas Buyers Club, she'll be part of Imagine with Al Pacino and also Men, Women, and Children with Adam Sandler. It's a busy year for this actress who's always put her husband, Ben Affleck, and their children first.
You did a lot of different kind of movies and series. How do you choose which movie you want to play in?
There have to be a few things that I love, the role, the writing, the director, and then a lot of things have to fall into place. Where it's shooting, when it's shooting, how much I would have to be away, if it works out with my kids, my husband. So it's kind of a miracle anytime I end up making a movie.
The football world is in shock.
Draft Day plunges us into the American culture, but it's unclear if the movie will find an audience outside the U.S. Still, with its 5-star casting, this football flick could score a touchdown abroad.
Star Wars fans have been given a glimpse of the future with the confirmation that 3 beloved stars will be back for the next installment. The original 1977 blockbuster was the highest-grossing film of the decade, but many fans were disappointed by a prequel trilogy that was released between 1999 and 2005. Well, Disney has now bought the franchise and is taking a crack at 3 sequel films, beginning with Star Wars Episode 7. Kate Moody has the details.
One of cinema's most successful and beloved trilogies, coming back for a 3rd round. Star Wars fans welcomed the casting announcement of the new Episode 7 film, due to hit theaters in December 2015. The seemingly retro photo released by director J.J. Abrams confirms that 3 original stars will be back for the sequel: Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill, nearly 30 years after their Star Wars debut.
Releasing the first picture like this in black and white, with R2-D2 peeking out in the background, it shows that they really want to link the upcoming film to the previous trilogies and everything that they evoke for the fans.
Star Wars mania was already in full swing in February 2013, when thousands of fans queued up for casting auditions at a London studio, channeling their favorite sci-fi heroes. This lifelong fan runs a website for almost 20,000 followers. He's posted biographies of the new cast and moderated speculation about the plot of the upcoming film.
We're trying to guess which actor will play which role, and that helps us try to work out the storyline. It leads to lots of speculation.
This photo has been leaked from the Episode 7 set in Abu Dhabi.
All you can really see here is this wall and a big cylinder. The cylinder looks like a piece of one of the starships from the old films. It could be anything, you can't really tell. But even a little photo like this can spark lots of comments.
Star Wars fans will have to wait 1.5 years for those questions to be answered. May the Force and patience be with them.
Well, Star Wars may be set in a galaxy far, far away, but it's actually in the deserts of the Gulf that the next episode will be partly filmed. And it's not just the movie business that Gulf states have their eyes on. Take Qatar. It's hoping that it will be soon known as much for oil paintings as it is for its oil reserves. Indeed, the energy-rich country is lavishing billions of dollars on famous artwork. And yet, in the deeply conservative Gulf state, not everyone's happy with its embracing of the avant-garde, as Joe Tandy now explains.
In a vast stretch of Qatari wasteland, American artist Richard Serra found the perfect space for his latest work, East-West, West-East. 4 15-metre-high steel plates tower over the desert sands. Known for his large-scale pieces, Serra chose Qatar for his first Middle Eastern exhibition.
Being able to build a piece in the desert at this scale is like meeting the Medicis in the 15th century. Those kinds of opportunities are rarely given to an individual.
The Emir of Qatar's sister, Princess Mayasa Al Thani, has led the push to expand the country's art collection, spending billions acquiring new pieces. As head of the Qatar Museum Authority, the princess has called on world-renowned artists and architects like Frenchman Jean Nouvel, Briton Damien Hirst, and Chinese-American I.M. Pei.
If you can reach for the best examples, you should do that. To do it and to choose these incredible artists and to choose, great architects and create the Museum of Islamic Art, etc. That really takes a vision.
Yet the avant-garde has at times drawn a mixed response from more traditional quarters. Foreigners make up 2/3 of the island's population, meaning many Qataris are keen to preserve their traditional identity.
Conservativeness comes from a bit of protection perspective rather than prejudice or, pushing away the unknown. It is something new, and people have yet to be introduced to it.
Despite sometimes running into opposition, Qatar's leaders are using their immense energy wealth both to gain a foothold in the world cultural scene and to diversify their country's economy. Art is selling at record prices to private buyers, making the avant-garde good for business too.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget, you can, of course, get more culture news on our website. You can also follow us on our social networks. Until next time, Culture Vultures.